Just a couple things I just want, first of all, last time we introduced ourselves. So most of us, I think here, have already introduced themselves. So I know there are a couple here who weren't here with us last time. So if they would like to introduce themselves, the rest of us will introduce ourselves as we work through the meeting. Okay, so Bonnie, you weren't here last meeting.
I was there last
meeting.
Were?
You were quiet. Anybody here
very
that was
unusual
not there?
for me.
Juanita, okay, you want to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what Rotary Club, what country, and how long you've been a quilter. Or no, quilter, knitter, crocheter,
whatever.
Crochet, knitter, bobbin lace, tatting.
Oh, everything.
Tatter. Yay.
Well, I'm Juanita Valentin Morris from Puerto Rico. I was the district governor 2018-2019. And today we're celebrating polio, the end of polio day.
Right.
So we've been sort of
Yesterday.
Facebook and putting everything there. So we've been very active.
That's great. I love your cabinet behind you. You've got a great collection of some special stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else who wasn't?
Me? Yep, Cheryl.
Huh?
Hi.
Hi.
Cheryl.
I'm Cheryl from New Zealand. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. I'm from New Zealand. My husband's a Rotarian, so I'm a spouse. I've been quilting for many, many years, probably about 35. It's a bit of an addiction. And we occasionally have got to a world convention, but not very often because it's a long way. Last weekend, we actually were away for a weekend in New Zealand with the flying Rotarians because my husband's a pilot and had a great time. Yep. So, yeah, so I live down under and it's actually Sunday morning at 9 o'clock here. So we're well and truly ahead of you guys. Yeah.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, 9 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, it's 9 a.m. on Sunday. Oh, you're a day ahead of us.
Yeah. Oh. We're right at the beginning of the time change. Yeah.
Yep.
Esther,
and I
Esther, were you with us last time?
No. Oh, sorry.
Esther.
Yes, I was with you last time.
Okay. I don't have my list in front of me. I wrote everybody's name down, but
I'm new.
You're new. Okay. Christy Sutton.
Christy, Bainbridge Island, Washington. And I'm a member of Paulsbo North Kitsap Rotary, and I've been quilting for about 30 years.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And we have a new member, Suzanne, too.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm a little late. I just had another phone call, but
that's all right. We're glad you're here.
Well, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Suzanne, where are you from? And
go ahead. I am from Caledon, Ontario, Canada. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Orangeville. That's District 7080.
I was here last time, but didn't get to introduce myself, so I'll do it now.
Well, Lisa, now's your chance. We're looking forward to it.
So I'm a Rampart Range Rotary Club in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And let's see, been quilting 35 years and knitting, crocheting, sewing for like 55 years. So I pretty much enjoy all the fiber arts.
That's great. That's wonderful. Okay.
I'd like to say hi to everybody because I haven't seen your faces. I couldn't be on. I'm a longtime member of the fellowship, but it's the first time I've been able to tune in to see you all. So I'm Nan Hilliard from Illinois Beach Sunrise Rotary Club, and I'm sitting in my studio because why not if I'm going to meet with quilters?
Sure.
Well, it looks like you have a stash.
I do.
Looks like yours.
And look, I'm wearing my polio shirt today. So there you go.
Yay. So, and what state are you from?
Illinois Beach Sunrise. So I live in Illinois.
Illinois. Okay. I missed that part. Is there anybody else?
Oh, here's one.
Yes. Yes, that's me. I have a bad internet connection, so I lose you and have to get back on now and then. But I'm Sally, and I'm in Fairhope, Alabama. And and I've needle pointed and done cross stitch and just sewn and a little crocheting and the quilting for a while, but I more collect stuff and just like to learn about it and look at them. And my internet is messed up because Hurricane Sally hit me. No internet yet.
Sally.
Where is Kay? Kay Keto? Kiddo?
Oh, Faye,
Hey.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
Okay, go to the second page, Cheryl.
Well, no, you don't have your video on or your
Oh,
audio.
she doesn't have her video on. And then
No, she doesn't have her video on.
right here is someone, raise your hand if you haven't, there, you see her? Well, no, right here.
Faye?
Yes, it's Jane. Can you hear me?
Jane.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
From Ontario.
Yeah.
From
Vancouver.
British Columbia.
Vancouver.
British Columbia.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you.
Hello.
Good to see
It's
you.
1
We
o'clock.
missed you.
Well, yes, I was attending last time, but I was very quiet.
We'll have none of that.
It was lovely to see you, and lovely Helena from England. And was it Karen from Orangeville, where my son and daughter-in-law and grandson are in Orangeville? Anyway, back to Vancouver. My husband is a Rotarian in the Vancouver Club, and I am, I always say, a Rotarian by osmosis. I
You
help
gotta
out.
be.
I help out as much as possible with his projects if I can. I've come back to quilting after several years and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So look forward to learning lots more and getting together at an international conference sometime.
Houston. It'll be Houston
Yes.
next time.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay, do we have everybody now so we can go on with the meeting?
Who do we have here that's, your name shows iPad, and I want to know who that is right there in the red shirt.
Hi, I'm Karen Bertrand. I don't know, I have to put my name on there, but I'm from Wakefield, Rhode Island. My husband is a member of the Wakefield Rotary Club.
Well, glad you're here, Karen.
Well, thank you. I missed it last time. It was on my calendar, but it just kind of slipped my mind.
Yeah, and I clicked on my name and I actually managed to change it because I had Michael up there. But, so if you click on your name in that little box and it gives you an option to rename it, like I did before.
Okay, so Marty.
Yes.
Can you give us a little recap? I hope that everybody received their treasurer's report.
Yes.
Yes.
Does it was in the information that was emailed to you regarding this meeting. Marty, I don't know if there's any questions or if you want to just recap it for everybody so that they know what we mean, what you meant by all of these little figures.
Well, it was compiled mostly by Diana, and I'm just here to help her. But anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory in that it shows, July, August, and September, and the income we've made, and what our balance is now, which is $7,000, which is more than I ever thought we'd have in the bank. And where the income came from is also here. And then, so if anybody has any questions, the other thing is how much we have donated to polio, which is $11,113.38.
So that makes us a major donor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that money, that 11,000 comes from money over the years that we've collected at the booth for our for things that what we do at our booth is exchange our handmade items for donations to polio. And most people buy something that would cost more than $100. And so they would go to the foundation booth and donate the money to their own account and bring us the receipt, and we would exchange it for that item of equivalent value. There are lots of people that buy things that only cost $25 or $30 or whatever, and they just give us the money there at the booth. And that money at the end of the convention, we take and we deposit it in the foundation's polio account under our name as an organization, as a fellowship. And that's how we happen to have now accumulated over $11,000 just from the little bits and pieces that we've sold. Overall, we estimate our total sales at the convention to average at least $8,000 every year. And we've been doing this for about 10 years now.
Question?
Yeah.
So if anybody has a question, yes.
Is there any reason why it has to be 100 for a foundation donation? Why can't the smaller amounts qualify?
I'll answer that.
Okay.
Foundation doesn't want to mess with the little stuff, simply because it's at the convention. They're very, very busy. And so they have to give them a receipt and do their bookkeeping at their end when we send them over. But for $25 or $50, and sometimes it's even $3. And then sometimes we do have people stop by the booth and they don't really want anything or need anything. And so they'll just give us some money, and that's for us, our club. But all the money goes to polio, whether it's $25 or $500 or $2,000.
I understand that, but why couldn't the person purchasing do an online donation? I mean, I just did that today for my husband and for myself, and it's easy. And I got an acknowledgement from the Rotary Foundation right away that I had put this money in, and I received it on my cell phone.
Well, first of all, we're in a foreign country or wherever we are. A lot of people don't have internet and don't have access to it. And
We always have internet at the conventions.
Yeah, but service is very poor. We paid, I can't remember, Marilyn could probably remember.
It is very
We paid
poor.
a lot last year to have the computer there at the booth, and actually, it was a waste of money. We couldn't get out. There were a lot of booths and a lot of people, and everybody's trying to jam in, and it's just, as long as it goes to polio and the people,
There's a little gadget like this. It's called Skyrim. Now you have to pay for it daily whenever you want to use it, but it will allow you to have internet wherever you are. And you know, it's worth it. We went to Europe for 2 weeks and we paid $8 extra in internet charges. And the only reason was that I forgot to switch over fast enough, and you know, there was a connection time in between.
Okay, so well, you know what? That's a great, we'll look into that and see what we can do. Actually, we have 1.5 years to figure that one out, so we don't have to worry about it. Bonnie?
Carol, I've been doing lectures on raising funds during a pandemic, and a lot of places are doing virtual things. Why couldn't we do a virtual auction?
The problem is, we have talked about that a lot. However, postage from the States to England is a lot. And so consequently, that's something that would have to be factored in. So there's a lot of expenses in that. So not only are you donating the quilt or whatever,
Right,
but
you have
then
to
you
mail them.
have to ship it. And the shipping is a real downside.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I think we're spending, because of COVID and not visiting family and friends, our postage has gone up considerably because we're shipping. And even if it's a small item, it's expensive to ship out of the country, and the documentation that's required can become
Well, and
cumbersome.
then, and there again, then we also have from country to country, there's a lot of things that go along with that. As Helena knows, I sent her some ties, rotary ties to make a rotary quilt. And it took 6 months, wasn't it? Probably 6 months before you got them.
Wow.
And thank gosh, somebody that I know in the post office searched and they had said it left New York. It was still in New York. So, you know, it's just, there's just a lot, we have really
Too many problems.
too many problems.
Cumbersome.
And we're all over the world. So, you know, internet is good and not so good in other places. And but anyway,
Also,
we're working on all of those things. So
also a customs issue as well.
absolutely, that's
too.
huge.
Huge.
I shipped a quilt to well, not I didn't. The man sent me a quilt from London for our quilt guild. And I don't know what it cost him, but it cost me over $100 just for customs to get it once it was shipped here.
Yes.
So
Wow.
it gets pretty pricey.
Cheryl,
I see. Thank you.
Nan is asking about whether we take donations for things at our booth at the conventions, like table runners and tote bags and so on. And Marilyn Lyra has her hand up, and Jean Cadwalder had her hand up. So if you want to go to them.
Marilyn, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you so much.
I love that quilt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It's one of my Halloween quilts. We have, there is a problem with having an online raffle or auction or what have you, is that sometimes it's construed as gambling, and gambling on the internet is a big no-no.
Oh, even an auction.
Even an auction, yeah, it's taking a chance on something, and that's our quilt guild has run into that problem, and so we can't, you know, like we can't sell tickets to our opportunity quilt online because that's gambling.
Mm-hmm. Well, in California, we can't have raffles. We can't do any of those things. So unless what you do, you have, if somebody says you're having a raffle, I would like a ticket, you have to give them one. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, you have to deal with multiple jurisdictions. And so obviously think about your public television station, they've got this figured out, but we don't have the resources to do that. And it's partly about from where the seller is issuing, and also where the drawing is made, and you've got to deal with all that kind of legal stuff, and probably you're going to screw it up, and are we going to bail you out of jail? Probably not.
We will come visit you on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, when the pandemic is over.
Yeah. Okay, Diana, I have a couple questions for you. Do we have any requests for show and tell?
Oh, I didn't see, well, Marilyn was telling us some nice things about her quilt. Maybe she'd like to show us the close-up again.
No? Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure, because we had said we would, if somebody had show and tell, we would do it at the end of the meeting. So I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anybody. Okay, so.
Jennifer would like to say something.
I just finished a Harry Potter quilt for a grandson.
Oh, cute.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And a sleeping bag for his bedtime teddy bear.
Oh.
And there's a box of things already made for the next whatever.
Oh, good.
The next whatever.
Oh, good.
wow.
Thank you. That's
The
great.
next whatever.
That's wonderful.
We have one.
Huh?
We have one. Marty and I made this one, and it's just a scrappy quilt, and very simple little scrappy quilt. And we made it
Pretty.
because our club is supporting a safe house for human trafficking victims, and we're going to be decorating one of the bedrooms. And so we made a cute little bright quilt, and it's called Bright Beginnings.
Oh, lovely.
That's great. Okay,
Well-
did everybody get a copy of our existing bylaws?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is something that we really need to not necessarily discuss right now, but the board would like to, we need in order to update our bylaws, we need a committee. And so we're asking any of you who would be willing to serve on that committee to please let us know. And then we will have a committee meeting via Zoom, and we can discuss the changes. We have fellowship bylaws. Rotary International has a bylaw that they have for all fellowships that we need to comply with. And so, but one of the main reasons for, one of the many reasons why our bylaws need to be addressed is the fact that we would like to expand the board. Right now, we have a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer. Because we have expanded a lot in the last 5 years, and now we have members all over the world, we would love to start working on a way of including more of us, all of us, into the decision making and the committees, the directors, maybe have a zone, zones for us. I know we have somebody, Helena in London. We have Lila in Finland. They have offered to participate, but we really need some bylaws so that we can make it official. And then also they would have to decide what kind of committees or directors we need to have on that committee, are included in the bylaw committee and included on the board. So if you all, I think, okay, so Diana, did you put some questions on for them to answer?
I can't remember. Let's see.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Would they like to work on the board? Would they like to work on the board of, be part of the board of directors was first question. And then I think the second question was bylaws committee. Yeah. So, okay, now I have it for the bylaws committee. You want me to launch it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you should see that. Do you guys see it?
Yes.
Just check whether you would like to or not. Okay, did everybody get a chance to do it? Then I'll end the polling.
I checked in, Diane. It's Esther. I checked in and
Okay.
submitted it.
Okay.
So you know that you should have received something.
Okay, good. By the way, you know, down at the bottom of your screens, there's a little chat box right in the middle, down at the very bottom. So anytime you have something to say and I can't see you or Diana doesn't see you, you can always click that and then you can type in and say, hey, I want to talk, and then I can see that. So, or Diana can see it. So does everybody see that little chat box down at the bottom? Actually, right now it says I have 5 chat boxes. So
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so,
We had,
okay,
we
Helena
had
from
50% of the people said they would like to serve on the bylaws committee. And so when we're finished with the call, I will get a list of the names, and then we can contact you, okay?
Thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
Okay, so back to Diana. Diana, you want to tell everybody about the California zone meeting that we're having and all about our participation in that?
Yes, on the middle of November, we have our Zone Institute for our Western United States. And they have asked 10 of the fellowships to participate by giving a 1-hour Zoom meeting like this. And so one of the 10, we were one that was asked, and I felt really good about that. And so we're going to be having on, I think the Thursday afternoon, November the 12th, we'll be able to participate and have whoever is attending the Zone Institute, and they have over 600 people now signed up for it. It's all virtual. They'll have a choice on the Thursday to attend one of 5 different fellowship Zoom meetings going on simultaneously. So we'll see how many we get attracted to our group, and we can tell them about what we do and just kind of get their input about the fellowships, and then we'll just report back to you about that. I'm real excited about it. And Helena has agreed to come on the call. I wanted our officers to be able to be on the call in order to answer any questions that people might have. And when they have it at 3:45 in the afternoon, it's going to be like close to midnight for Helena. But she's gonna come on anyway. But I think they'll be very interested in knowing how much we participated in polio eradication, and how much, you know, of all the downsides of what's happening with this pandemic. One of the good things to come of it is our ability to be together like we are today.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and Marilyn's going to be participating as well, is she not?
Marilyn's going to come on. She's going to talk about her wonderful newsletter. We're so lucky to have her. And Esther also participated in our newsletter for many years. And I think we just have a super newsletter. And it's good because you guys offer a lot of things. And that's how she does it, right, Lynn?
Absolutely. If it wasn't for all the things you feed me, it would be a pretty grim looking newsletter.
We depend on all your artwork, Lynn.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Well, I do a little bit of mucking around. I did talk with Diana, and we changed the header a little bit. So that's kind of, you can look at that. But that's just simple stuff.
It's been really fun. One of the things we want to highlight at the Institute meeting is from our newsletter, all of you that contributed stories about what you've been doing since the pandemic and how you've been providing PPE and all of those wonderful things to show how we use our resources and our talents to, you know, to help wherever we can. So I think those kinds of stories are really, really wonderful. I mean, we're glad to see them coming in from all over the world.
Diana, can anyone click in to see our presentation?
Yes, if you let me know about it, because we have a limit of 100 people that can be on the call. And so I'll have to see how many from the, you know, the paid Institute people, how many have signed up for it. But if you contact me, if you would like to do that, it's on November the 12th at starting at 3:45 in the afternoon Pacific time. Then, you know, I'm more than happy to give you the link.
Great, appreciate that. Okay, the Houston project, we talked about that at the last meeting, and we've had a little bit of input. As you know, we're trying to put together a club-wide project that we will be able to auction off in Houston. So it gives us plenty of time to get our act together here and come up with something wonderful. Stars will be in Texas, and of course, Texas is all about the star state. And so stars have been suggested, another person suggested something, perhaps something that depicts your neighborhood, the houses, the buildings, or a famous site, those kinds of things. Does anybody have any other input as to what they think might be something workable? We're thinking that if everybody kept their projects in blocks and mailed them to us, then we would have them put together and quilted, and then we'll take them to Houston, but trying to keep the cost down on individuals, since they'll be coming from everywhere. So does anybody have any other suggestions regarding a theme? And actually we could have a couple themes. We'll just make a couple quilts. So that's another option. I mean, we've made 2 quilts, 3 quilts. We can do whatever you want to do, however we need your input. So does anybody have anything they would like to share with us?
My question, this is Esther, and my question is, did you get the information on the research I did on making an Afghan using
with the wool? With the wool.
That I'd like to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on what I found out, that the yarn that would have to be used is two very specific vendors, primarily because there is 2 companies in the US that can ship overseas. And that way, if anybody is interested, it would be a good idea to give that some thought. The squares would have to all be the same size. And I understand there's like 230 some different countries in the Rotary family. So we'd have to make sure that not everyone is knitting the same country flag. We somehow or other have to organize how to do that. But the 2 companies that I know of who have yarn, and I haven't gone the next step to find out whether they would donate yarn, is Cascade Yarn, Plymouth Yarn, and Lion Brand and Red Heart are easily available in a acrylic mix. And that would have to be an acrylic mix because wool is not washable, machine washable. And it would be more difficult to get everybody on the same page, but we could specify that. The Webs, which is a large yarn store, in Massachusetts, ships overseas. They do business all the way around the world. So I spoke to them the other day, would limit me. It's an overnight, it would become an overnight. What's your name? Lion Brand also ships overseas, so that anyone wanted to buy the yarn. My suggestion would be that to get a group of individuals in the same country or area to do this, so that everybody's on the same page. And that was all written up in what I sent out a while ago. I guess I did that about a month or so, or a few weeks ago. I sent everything out with all the instructions. And I also listed the problems that we had. when we did it the last time. And the problem then was, even though there were specific directions and it was the flags, it was a star flag because it was taking place, I think, in Dallas, the international. People were using different types of yarn, even though specific yarn was recommended. And when I got it and tried to put it together, I ended up having to take apart other people's knitting. And that was a real problem. So if we want to move forward, we have to be very, very specific on the yarn, the size, and know what flag they would be knitting.
Esther, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, if we were to suggest that, for example, if we're doing stars, that their star block would have to be 14 inches square. And so if their yarn was maybe something that, I mean, we have a knitter in Finland that makes her own yarn. So if we say that the finished product has to be 14 by 14, then would the gauge and the size, all of those things make a difference?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I don't have it right now, but I think I have the sample star that was done, and I can send that. I can take a picture of it. I can send it to Lynn and you as well. And maybe I can do something with that in the next newsletter, because I know Lynn asked me for some stuff and I really wasn't prepared to do anything right now, but I could do something as an idea and float it by with an article, if that would be helpful.
That would be really helpful because we do need to have a project for our knitters, our crocheters, and I was even thinking about maybe rows where somebody just knitted a row of stars or whatever they wanted, as long as the row was only, 12 inches wide or 14 inches wide and 70 inches long or something like that, so that then all you'd have to do is match the rows.
Okay, let me go dig out what I have. I think I have
you.
a star, and then I will copy it, send it to everybody, and it will go into the newsletter, so everybody that's listening in now would see it, and then we can get suggestions from that.
That would be great.
I'll put that together and get it to you sometimes next week.
Okay, perfect. Bonnie, I see your hand up.
Yes, Esther.
Beautiful knitted crochet.
It was crocheted.
Crochet, yeah.
It was all crocheted. And Esther, do we want to mix crocheting and knitting in the same Afghan, or do we want to do a separate crocheted Afghan for all the crocheters out there?
My response, Bonnie, why don't you and I talk? But I think that two separate is much better, because putting crocheting and something knitted together can be very challenging. Why don't you and I talk and come up with something and report back?
Perfect.
Okay, I have your email. I'm not sure I have your phone number. So email me.
Okay, Bonnie.
Okay.
That would be wonderful. And actually, I have to tell you, the board has been talking about, we've always had one little booth. And so we're really thinking that maybe Houston, because it's our birthday, that we will have a double size booth, and hopefully we'll be able to fill it and have a lot of things to fill it with. So the more quilts we have, the better we'll be. And of course, maybe we can even break our record and go over $10,000 for polio. Wouldn't that be great?
It's really hard to get a double booth when every year when we apply, and we've been asking for a double booth, but they have to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get their booth filled. And so we have to wait until the very end and see whether there's any openings or cancellations and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and every year there are empty booths, and we go through that every year. And last year there was an empty booth next to us, and we thought, oh, I mean, we were getting ready to hang quilts, and what they do, they came and put a wall over it. so, so we hung them on the wall. So there, we got them. But anyway, okay. So another thing about Houston is we are going to have our birthday party. We're going to be 20 years old. Wasn't those the days? Anyway, so we would like, if there are a couple, 2 or 3 people that would like to help plan that reception, and maybe someone has contacts near where we'll be in Houston, where we can get a nice place to have a reception for us. And that actually, it really isn't a reception. I think we are required by the rules of Rotary that we have once a year meeting. And so it's really our once a year meeting as well. So up until these Zoom meetings, that's pretty much the only thing we were able to do other than occasional phone calls. So anyway, if anybody is interested in helping with the reception, has some great ideas, loves to plan parties, let us know. Okay?
Cheryl, Nan has a question.
Yeah.
Okay, Nan?
Yeah, and just an observation, as I just typed, I have experience with coordinating group quilts for the American Library Association conference, where when we have an in-person conference, we have a very successful silent auction. And I don't know whether this has been tried before, but I'm thinking of trying to put a whole bunch of ideas together, but I start talking about quilt designs, maybe coordinating 2 or even 3 group quilts, and the coordinator could determine a design so they would look different, because what you also want to do is get quilts that somebody wants to buy or bid on. If it's just a nice design and they're doing it just to be friendly, you know, or they're gonna take it home and it's gonna end up, who knows. So something something useful, pretty and useful would be good. So if you had perhaps, let's say we wanted to go for 3 and we had 3 coordinators, those people could just correspond by email with the members that they wanted, and, you know, either bounce ideas off or set a date for, you know, to say, I want to do Ohio Stars in Batik, and I want it to be purples and golds. I'm just making this up, obviously. And then people could say, oh boy, I love to work with batiks and I have a lot of purple and gold and I'd be happy to contribute. And then we could talk about it that way.
That would be great. Actually, we've kind of done that in the past.
Okay.
We in the booth, we exchange donations for quilts. However, in the booth, we also do have a silent auction. And usually we have 2 quilts that people can bid on throughout the entire convention. And those are the quilts, actually, you know, most of them sell for $200, $300, $400, but the auction quilts are either, you know, $1,500, $2,000. One year, I think we had like 5,000 between the 2 trip around the worlds that we did, Diana, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a good year. So yes, so those would be great. I think probably our problem is coordinating and making sure that people who say they're going to do it follow through and take care of it. So I think that's one of the reasons we have thought that there should be directors for zones where, for example, so you would say, okay, I'll be the director of the Northern United States, because you're from New Hampshire, right?
Me? I'm Illinois.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Director of Mid-America. Anyway, so So then you would take 3 or 4 states near you,
Okay.
and then you would be in charge of that. And actually Lynn could put out information if you live in Illinois, near Illinois, that you are the one to talk to about a project that we're working on. Same with Bonnie. We can do that. I think that would be a wonderful thing. That we need to
Cheryl, you could have somebody in Florida who wants to make the purple and gold Batik Ohio Star that's being coordinated by the person in Seattle.
Well, the problem with that is, and you have to follow up.
Yeah, well, we got email. It's nagging works.
Yeah.
And you're talking about one block. It's not like it's the whole quilt. So.
I'll tell you some of the things that have been fun, most fun to do, I think, and easy sell are like the year that we had the knitted or crocheted, whatever it was, the flag quilt. People came and all wanted to get in the booth and see it up close.
Okay.
They picked out their country, and they were real excited about that.
It was crocheted, and it was people from my district. So.
And the trip around the world, where it was made of fabrics from all over the world, and there was the label on the back said, this fabric came from this country, this fabric came from this country, and so on. Those kinds of things are real attractive to people and unique. So it isn't something that they can buy at the department store.
Another thing they love are the men's rotary tie quilts. We have made a lot of money off of old rotary ties. And also anything with a rotary logo. One year we made a lot of wall hangings or, table centerpiece type things, 30 inches by 30 inches with the rotary logo in the center, and then doodahs around the sides, and they were gone the first day. So those are just things, because we do still need a lot of small projects. We need a lot of, actually we sell a lot of, somebody does some beautiful knitting, the little baby sweaters and caps, and then we had, and then Lisa, Elsa does the wool socks that she makes in Finland, and we sell a lot of those. So everything goes. And another thing that's become very popular are carry bags. Because people are buying things, and now they're looking for something to carry all their stuff in. So tote bags are really, really great. So the small things go very well.
Yeah. Suzanne was saying a t-shirt quilt might be fun if you had one from, different clubs or different countries or something with the logo on it.
Well, I've made a lot of those. If they'll send me their t-shirts, I can do that. Marilyn, put that in the newsletter. I'd be happy to.
They're old Rotary at Work t-shirts.
And here's some other suggestions I'm seeing about women in Rotary, and for our first woman RI president. So there's a lot of themes that we could choose from that would be special.
We're gonna have to put ruffles on the Rotary wheel.
I don't think they'd like that. They're very strict about the branding nowadays.
Yes, they are particular. We have to be sure to follow the branding rules.
Yeah. And whatever you do, don't use the old logo. They don't like the old logo anymore.
Yeah.
And it was much better.
Yes, it
Well,
was.
I think it was too.
Yes, because just plain gold on white, you can't even see it.
So you can do the blue on white. You can do the blue on
Mistake.
white, and that's acceptable too, but.
Can I suggest that, is it possible that we have a follow-up email of everybody that was present and some of the suggestions that have been made, and do that as a separate email in addition to the newsletter?
How do I send it?
You're recording.
I'm hopefully, I clicked to record this session. So hopefully, I can give you a link to a recording and the other people that weren't able to join us today.
That would be great.
I was asking before, I didn't get any information on the Afghan. Can you give us some more information for the people who don't know what the Afghan is all about?
The answer is yes. I will write something up to go into the newsletter because I know Lynn is participating today, so I can do that. And I think what we have to do is get some information out, more specific, and it'll take me a while to get it together. Does that help? Or you can email me. That would be another way.
Esther, I could do a little, because the newsletter is supposed to be coming out the end of next week. I can put a little bit in there, and then you could plan on doing it at the next newsletter, maybe.
Okay.
Do the whole thing.
Why don't you and I talk over? I can email you by tomorrow, and then maybe you and I can talk on the phone, and we'll put something together quickly for this newsletter, and then the next one we can have more information, but with contact information.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Okay, well, we have about 5 more minutes. Can somebody tell us what one of your clubs is doing during this COVID, other than make masks? We all make masks, but I think last time somebody was busy making things for the Days for Girls. Juanita, what are you doing in Puerto Rico? You've got a lot of things going on there besides COVID.
Yeah, well, I've been spending my time knitting and crocheting. I did a baby blanket and I did some lace crochet things for people who are doing bobbin lace that came out in the Bobbin Lace magazine. And I was just sending a pattern of bobbin lace to a person from California that requested some information about bobbin lace from Puerto Rico.
Is that with the bobbins, and there's like 10 different bobbins and all this thread?
Beautiful. Yeah. Hard to do.
Juanita, did you teach, were you the one who connected with Christine Burns?
Yeah.
Yeah, she told me that it was somebody from Puerto Rico who taught her how to do it.
So I was just making copies to send her, and I had to stop because it was time to come to the meeting. But I finally, so yes, I just finished scanning, so I'll be sending it to her between today and tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
She just mentioned it a while back because I was trying to learn how to do it, and I made a couple of little teeny pieces of stuff and quit.
I have a whole set of bobbins and thread that I bought in an antique store years ago, and I put it in a drawer, and it's still there. If anybody wants them, let me know.
Send it to me.
You want them? Will you use them?
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're little wood bobbins about like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Never learned to do it. Maybe you can do
send
an
me your
online class.
information.
Okay.
Juanita,
I'll send them to you.
Could you do an online class on how to do these for us?
Oh my goodness. A demonstration, probably.
Yeah, yeah. I have these things, and I've never, somebody left them to me. I have no idea how to use them.
Okay, well, we're going to get you real involved. That sounds wonderful. Well, I'll send you the bobbins, and then you can do a class on Zoom.
Okay.
But I need your mailing address. Diana, do we have Juanita's mailing address?
We should. You get our messages and everything, right, Juanita?
Not today.
Okay, she's in our database. I have her address.
Okay, all right, I'll look on my list.
We can even make,
That's another thing we need to do, ladies, is update. So,
I can send you not a fancy roster, but a list of everybody with your email and that, and if it you can correct it, and I can correct the database then.
okay, why don't we do that? Because then I can email.
I'll just email it out to you.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that's such a good idea according to the protecting personal data information that we have from RI. I just took that course recently, and really it would be better for you to send out an email to say, are there any corrections necessary? If yes, please send them to me. Because
rather than send our whole list out to to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, your information now is in what we use here in California. Well, in our district anyway, where I'm using the database, is DACDB, and it's all secure, your information.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico we use Club Runner.
Yeah, some clubs use Club Runner. We use DACDB.
Yeah, well, we do it too, but the fact is still that you're sending around, you'd be sending it to different countries, to different districts and so on, and whether anybody would object or not, I don't know, but it's
well, that's a good point. I appreciate that information. And
well, one way of dealing with that, Diana, might be, which we had already talked about, is having a members only category or on our website where only members could get would have access to that. So I think that's what we need to do, and then that way it's only us and not anybody who goes into our website that can access that. Anyway, okay. Bong. It's 2:00.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's always so great. And Juanita, it's a pleasure meeting you and everybody else, Nan, Suzanne, Sally, Helena. You're always a joy to see.
You're so sweet.
And you give your husband a big hug for me.
I will do.
Put your mask on first, though.
Of course. He's watching the rugby.
Bonnie, it's good to see you. Glad you're feeling better.
So long, everyone. Back to crocheting.
Okay. Bye-bye. Oh, hey, when's our next meeting? Next meeting into January.
We said we were going to have them quarterly. So the next meeting would be in January.
The last Saturday of January.
Before we go, I'm sorry, I had to leave for a telephone call. This meeting is recorded. How can we get a link to the recording?
I'll send it out.
Great. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Still like that quilt.
Oh, thanks. The fun thing is that the fabric, it's color and it's black and white. It's the same print. So it's the white around, black and white around it for color, and color around black and white.
I see that. It's very intriguing. Very creative. Great job.
Really good.
Maybe you want to donate that to the to Houston.
But thanks for asking.
Right.
And some other kind of fabric that would do for that. Oh, I heard t-shirt quilt before. What else was discussed about t-shirt quilts?
I said if everybody would send me t-shirts, I would make a t-shirt quilt.
Okay. I'd be happy to put together a top and a quilt as well. And I've done t-shirt quilts before too.
Okay. All right. So you and I'll get together and then we'll just start collecting t-shirts and we'll get them done.
Great.
Very good.
Great. Okay. So long, everyone. Have a very
Bye-bye.
good holiday.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bonnie.
Bye-bye.
Happy
See
holidays.
you, see you next
Bye.
year.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.